Welcome back. It's still Entertainment Review live on Metro Television. So last year, the Cultural ONENESS Festival took place. This year, the 2024 event has been launched. We'll be talking to some members, and we have one member in the studio, and the other will be joining us via Zoom. So we have Tego Glemani, who is the co-founder for the Taste of Africa, and also Martin Christopher Glenn, who is also a co-founder, and he will be joining us via Zoom. Good afternoon, if you can hear me, Martin. Okay, so we are first going to start with our guest in the studio. Good afternoon, welcome to the Table of Life.
Good afternoon, madam.
Yeah.
Beautiful woman.
It's good to have you here.
I'm sure maybe after going home,
you will take one home.
Oh, no, all.
Both.
Okay.
No, when I said you take one home, it was a very tricky question. Mm-hmm. If you had said yes, I would have said no.
That's a cheating. Yes. You have to go with all.
Yes.
You know, when you sit as a royalty, we don't take one.
Okay.
We take all.
I understand. But let's talk about this amazing initiative.
Yes.
Last year was amazing. Share with us some of the objective. What was the main idea behind this initiative?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us here. And we are always grateful to your media outlet for all the good work you've been doing for us. Yes, like you said, the main idea is looking at us as human beings or as an African people. It is becoming so clear that we are not living by what defines us, but who defines us. And it is very critical at this point that we look at the things that defines us than who defines us. And that is why the main purpose of this. And we targeted the Northern Ghana, which is because, like they said, most of the activities are done, down south. And to make the country very vibrant and active across, so that wherever you are, there's something for you. And we look at the northern part of Ghana. And one of the main things is, we were also targeting our diasporans, who always return back home. And in order to tell that story properly, it needs to connect back to its roots as to where our brothers and sisters really came from before they got to the exit point and they left the country. And you couldn't do that without the northern part of Ghana. That is where the slavery started from. Yeah. So if it started from there and they walk all the way to the exit points, why are we leaving that site, maybe void, when it comes to conversations like this? Yeah. So we also wanted to build on that. And in order to do it, the name is Cultural ONENESS. Cultural ONENESS. And we have more in common than what divides us. Yeah. As we sitting here, beautiful as you look, we are still human beings, and that is what we're known. But to be identified, that is why we have names, we have female and male. Yeah. But in the collective form of us is human. And so we wanted to look at that. And we can actually be defined by our cultures, not who defines us. Yeah. But because we are now living those cultures away because of someone is defining us, we look down upon those cultures. I can tell you, we are the only human beings on earth that goes to church every day, pretending to be worshiping God, yet we are busy correcting his mistakes. And the question I ask, if God makes mistakes, who are we to correct his mistakes? Why can't we leave his mistakes to correct and we live, the life that he wanted us to live? If there's something wrong, with us, or if God wanted us to be somewhere else, I'm not sure we'll be sitting here this afternoon having this conversation. Yeah. There was a reason why he wanted us to be here. And there's a reason why he created you to be coming from the village or the town you are coming from, the community. You have a purpose there. Until you define that purpose and you live that purpose, you never came. Yeah.
I mean, you talk about culture, and it's so beautiful. And we know there are diverse ethnic groups individually. People have their culture that defines them. Exactly. If you go to the north, it is so beautiful. Yep. They have different types of things that they do, and you watch it and you go like, wow. Yeah. Tell us a bit about how the northern culture is, because like you said, most of the things happen in the south. Yep. I'm from a different region. You are. But then tell us about your own, the northern part.
Well, it's good you brought this question. The northern part is way bigger than we all thought it is. People down south always look at north as maybe either tamale, and that's the end of it. But it's way bigger than that. Way bigger than that. Now it's about 5 regions now within the northern side alone. And even in the country, if we were talking of northern region, it was the biggest, region in the country. That was when
it had more districts.
Exactly. That was when Savannah and Northeast was part of it. But now those are separate regions now. And the northern region has a family. They all evolved from one family that has maybe moved around to settle on other different places. So if you are talking of Upper East, Upper West, and Northern region itself, they came from one family root. And the Upper East might be a bit closer to where they came from. We know the old, Mali Empire, that was how we came and we settled down, and some even moved as far as even close to what's the name there? The Bono East area. That's where the shea butter boundary really end. So when you look at the shea butter, tracing it from that end back to Burkina Faso, that's where the family really started. Yeah. And the Gonjas, who are more of Guans, and the northern side too as well. And so now there are so many cultures. We have the Damba. There are so many festivals, even if I had to mention, maybe time wouldn't permit us. But there's a diversity and there's a lot of similarity in whatever they do. And when I said Damba, the Damba is celebrated across the whole northern Ghana. Not only northern region or Upper East or Upper West or Northeast or Savannah. No, the whole northern Ghana celebrates Damba, even to Oti region. They celebrate Damba.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, that is how the whole family root link together.
Yeah, that's very beautiful. So coming together to put such an initiative together, how was the first edition?
It was great. It's rather unfortunate that you miss it, and I have to tell you. I have to tell you the story.
We didn't miss it. We had to decide on
our colleague came. Oh. He was there. Yes. He covered it throughout.
Yes, I know. When I say you miss it, I mean in person. Yes. But the whole media house, I know you were present, throughout. But when I say you miss it, I mean in person, because the feeling we had, we couldn't you were not able to get that. Yeah. So it was great. To see, it's a long. It has been. I will put it this way: it has been a long craving thing for a lot of people in the northern part of Ghana. Not even okay.
We'll come back to you. Martin is on the line.
Okay.
I want us to ask him a couple of questions so that in case the number goes up. Martin, good afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Yes, it's good to have you.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, you have been part of such a brilliant initiative. I want to ask you, what influenced your decision to be part of this initiative in the first place?
Well, what influenced me is that, we as a people have been separated by geographical boundaries. But, our ancestry is come from the continent. And so there's so many of us, especially us in the United States and throughout the world, that have lost the connection to Africa, mentally, but Africa is in our blood, it's in our DNA. And so I just love the idea of us uniting culturally. And then once we can unite culturally, we can do some things, we can do business with one another, right? We can change the perspective of Africa as a whole around the world, to a lot of us that were born and raised in the US and Europe and things of that nature. So it's about the unity.
Yeah. And I mean, connecting back to your root, tell us how the experience was in the first place.
Well, yeah, it's life-changing, to be honest, to be, born in the US, raised in the US, and always to wonder, how did we get here? How did it happen? So, to come to Ghana, to see every aspect of, how slavery, colonization took place, it was very, it was like a homecoming. Not to dwell on the negative aspects, but more so to dwell on, I have brothers and sisters, that live on the continent, and to see each other as one. So it's really a spiritual connection. And it's like I'm welcome back to my family.
Yeah. And I mean, you spoke about investing, bringing people to appreciate all these things. Talking about the fact that the part of investment, when these people experienced it, going back, what were some of their reactions? Because their reactions is what is going to help us to bring more people to also come and enjoy what they enjoyed. So what were some of the reactions? What did they say whilst you guys were going back to the States?
Yeah, one of the main things that a lot of the friends and family that came with me saw was in America we live in a very advanced society, but it's not as much love. So the love of the people and the culture was primary, and then to see so much agricultural land which could be developed, for agribusiness and things like that, and just the people to be so inviting, and to see that, unfortunately, a lot of us had a negative perception of Africa. So we think there's lions and things running around, but to see that people are just as advanced as us and that they're welcoming us. So we see, from the business perspective, a lot of opportunity, especially in the tourism, because tourism, for the world to know not just about slavery, but to know all the things like the shea butter, all the things that a country like Ghana can offer. It's so many tourist sites that could be upgraded.
Yeah. And finally, before you go, you shared your side. You experienced something beautiful in Ghana. What would you say to stakeholders, people in high places about tourism, where they can invest more and other things? What would you say to them? Because you have been outside and you've witnessed what we are doing here. How can we make it better? How can we sustain something that we have started?
Yeah, I would say that it could be made better by just highlighting, from what I see, more than just, the slave castles, like the journey that, kind of highlighting so much of what I saw in northern Ghana was, how the slaves were captured, things like that. Things like that captivate us and they give us more of a story as opposed to just seeing us like we were just put on slave ships. So I think there could be tourist sites. There's a lot of tourist sites that could be created in the northern sector, which would help the whole country as well as what's going on in the southern sector.
Thank you very much, Martin.
And before I go, I think it has to be marketed.
Okay.
When I think about like Dubai, Dubai was a desert, but now the world comes there.
Yeah.
So if there's more emphasis put in that, then it could grow.
Yeah. We will be seeing you this year, right?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Thank you very
you,
much, Martin. We're speaking to
right,
Martin Christopher Glenn, who is also the co-founder of the Taste of Africa. And you were telling us about the experience last year.
Yes, thank you. Like my partner
Martin
said,
yeah.
Martin just, well, he's a chief now.
Okay.
Just to,
yes. Yes.
So you saw that on the video. So what happened last year in the history of this country, it has never happened. To be able to bring the Northern Ghanaian chief together in a unified front, that has never happened in the history of this country. And this is what we were seeking to achieve. The Northern Ghana has always been perceived, as more like the negative way. But actually, that's not what it is. And we wanted to project that. We wanted that unity to be well exhibited. We wanted to spotlight all the opportunities that are within the Northern Ghana. We wanted to change, the mindsets of people, how they perceive the northern side of Ghana, and look at how we can work together, to help build the economies there. Like Chief Martin rightfully put it, there are so many lands there that can have a lot of, businesses, settled there. And at least we can free the street of Accra more. Our sisters and our aunties that are on the street, carrying things for less than a one city. It is not actually they are hungry, but they lack physical cash. And if there are businesses, there are opportunities there, like things like this going on, and they know, I can be in the house and I get to sell pure water. There will be people coming, they get to buy, they get to do this. Then I won't have to sleep on the street of Accra. Why should I have come here? Then it's better I stay there. And I know that they have a home to go to after, my day-to-day, hustling. And this is exactly what we wanted to do. And also to build, the unity within the Northern Ghanaian people. And we build it up to the whole country. Has the family linkage, how, we link, we interweave with each other. If we have to go through maybe you start asking your mother. You can see that me and you, we were twins at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I, for one, I was much more interested in what Cultural Oneness Festival has been able to achieve when it comes to the fighters in the North. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that for the first time, this has brought the Northern chiefs together. Where do you see in the future how things are going to go in the North when it comes to the fighters?
Yes, so in the future, we see the Northern family well exhibited in unity. We see Northern Ghana working together, to help their community develop. We see our brothers and sisters in the diaspora connecting to their roots, throughout Northern Ghana. And this project, at the end of it all, or how we project, we want to use this to build a unification for the African people. We lack visibility among ourselves as an African people. And so because of that, our direction is always either it's in Europe or America or the other side of the world. But within Africa, there's so much we can do for ourselves. There's so much opportunities. But because we are not visible to each other, it is making it difficult for us to know what to do and where to go, at some point. And like they saying, one great musician will say, a crowd also I antenna for so Africa is big. And we want to use this, like Chief Martin said, the cultural unification. We want to use it to unify ourselves, to highlight the common things that binds us. Like I said in the beginning, we want to look at things that define us, not who defines us. Because now we are living by who defines us, not what defines us.
Exactly. Yes. What is the theme for this year's event?
The theme for this year is leveraging, on our strength for, development as one people.
Yeah. And you looking at it from a different side, 5-10 years, how are you looking at the festival? How do you want it to go?
5-10 years, 5-10 years, that means we are going to the world. Because a couple of years from now, we want to see let me say a year or two, or even this year, we're looking at the whole Africa coming together to celebrate with us in Northern Ghana.
Wow.
Tegon, thank you very much for telling us everything that we need to know about the Cultural Oneness Festival. And we hope that this year we get to be parts. But not only will Desmond and Billy Keys and Evans go, but they will also be parts.
Yes, they are.
Thank you so much for having us. We're grateful. We also would like to use this opportunity to thank all the supporters, our partners, and for being there with us. Metro TV, yourself as a media, you've been championing this with us from day one. And we are grateful for all the support. And we thank all our partners, the likes of the NCC, the African Tourism Board, the Harlem Tourism Board, Ghana Tourism Authority, Diasporan Affairs, the Northern Development Authority. Ethiopian Airlines, they did very well, for us. We're grateful. Masternomics, who have been, good supporters of us from day one.
Okay.
And we call on everyone, listening or watching us this afternoon. Yes, I'm going to say, and I'm doing thank you. So we're looking for all the support that we can get. Let's build a unifying community for ourselves and for the next generation to come up for us. And I also use this opportunity to thank His Royal Highness, Gerard Bupera, Jinapor II, for all His Royal Majesty following us, here and there, supporting us, and making sure he sees this to the day of light. We are grateful, Your Highness.
Okay, so we've been speaking to Tengo. I got it right.
Tengo. Actually, the name is Tengoli. It's a town. Tengoli. It's a town in Tamale.
Okay.
In northern region.
Yeah. Tengoi. Plemani.
Tengol Plemani. Tengol Plemani.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time.